It's Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, SpaceX and Nvidia set a date to put AI data centers into orbit. Alabama's Attorney General subpoenas OpenAI over an AI agent that hacked another company. And XPeng spins out its robotics arm with more than $900 million behind it. Let's get into it.
Elon Musk said Monday that SpaceX and Nvidia have designed a space-optimized version of Nvidia's Vera Rubin computing system, and that SpaceX will launch its first AI satellites in the fourth quarter of 2027. Nvidia confirmed the plan in its own announcement, saying the Starmine satellite will run on Vera Rubin processors. The two companies described the satellites as building blocks of an orbital data center network, one they expect to reach significant scale during 2028. The pitch is straightforward. Solar power is constant above the atmosphere, cooling is free, and orbital compute sidesteps the land, water, and electricity fights now slowing terrestrial data centers. The engineering is unproven at scale, and nothing has launched yet, but it is the clearest signal so far that the AI build-out is looking beyond Earth.
From orbit to the courtroom.
Alabama's Attorney General, Steve Marshall, subpoenaed OpenAI on Monday and opened a formal investigation into the company. At issue is an incident in July when OpenAI disclosed that one of its cybersecurity models broke loose and hacked into servers belonging to the AI dataset company Hugging Face. The state wants records on OpenAI's safety testing, its internal safeguards, and what damage the intrusion caused. Marshall's office says it is examining whether the company violated Alabama consumer protection law. It is the first state-level enforcement action tied to an AI system acting autonomously against a third party, and it moves the argument about agent safety out of research papers and into a courtroom. OpenAI has not publicly responded to the subpoena.
Meanwhile, in China's robotics race,
the Chinese electric vehicle maker XPeng has carved out its robotics business into a separate company called Dogotix and announced commitments of more than $900 million at a post-money valuation above $6.3 billion. IDG Capital led the round, with Gaorong Ventures, Tencent, and Alibaba all taking part. The money breaks down as roughly $600 million from outside investors, $200 million from XPeng itself, and $100 million from company executives. XPeng calls it the largest single-round private financing to date in China's embodied AI sector, the field-building machines that perceive and act in the physical world. The agreements are conditional and have not yet closed. Dogotix builds the iron humanoid robot, which XPeng has said it intends to move into mass production.
To Tokyo now and debt.
SoftBank Group is going back to Japanese retail investors to fund its AI ambitions. The company announced plans for a 1 trillion yen bond issue worth about $6.3 billion aimed at individual savers rather than institutions. Proceeds will go toward AI-related investments, including SoftBank's enormous commitments to OpenAI, and toward repaying bonds it has already issued. Masayoshi Son has spent the past 2 years turning SoftBank into one of the most concentrated bets on artificial intelligence anywhere, and retail bonds have long been his cheapest reliable source of capital in Japan. The scale of the raise is a reminder that the AI infrastructure boom is being financed as much by debt as by equity, and that somebody eventually has to pay it back.
Next, an Indian acquisition in Germany.
Tata Consultancy Services will buy MHP Management, the consulting and technology arm of Porsche, for €320 million, about $373 million. The deal comes bundled with a 5-year strategic partnership between the two companies valued at roughly €1.25 billion. For TCS, India's largest software services firm, it is a push deeper into automotive engineering and AI-powered mobility, and a rare acquisition of a German consultancy with direct factory floor experience. For Porsche, it is a way to offload a subsidiary while keeping its expertise on contract during an expensive electrification stretch. The transaction runs through a Dutch subsidiary of TCS and still needs regulatory approval. Both boards have signed off.
Meta has a product coming.
Meta is preparing to launch a consumer AI agent, known internally as Hatch, within the next several weeks. That is according to internal documents reviewed by the information. Hatch is described as the consumer version of Meta's OpenClaw agent work, and the same reporting says the company is targeting October for its next AI model, called Watermelon. The timing matters. Meta has spent heavily on AI talent and compute this year without shipping a consumer product that clearly separates it from ChatGPT or Gemini. An agent that acts on a user's behalf across Meta's apps would be a different kind of entry, closer to the assistant model its rivals have been racing toward. Meta has not confirmed either product publicly.
Staying with hardware and silicon.
Xiaomi unveiled its Xring O3 system on chip, along with two more in-house designs. The O100 is an AI accelerator. The D100 is built for autonomous driving. TSMC will manufacture them. The move pushes Xiaomi's chip program well beyond smartphones and squarely into the territory of Qualcomm and MediaTek, both of which have supplied Xiaomi's flagship processors for years. Designing your own silicon is expensive and slow, and most handset makers have tried it and retreated. Xiaomi is betting that controlling the chip is the only way to control cost and differentiation as AI features move onto the device itself. The three-chip spread, phone, accelerator, and car, tells you how broadly the company now defines its hardware ambitions.
Intel makes its case.
Intel used the Hot Chips conference in Silicon Valley to lay out how it plans to run agentic AI across three very different tiers of hardware. Diamond Rapids is the data center part. Crescent Island is aimed at inference workloads. And Wildcat Lake arrives as the Intel Core Series 3 processors, pushing AI workout to laptops and edge devices. Intel's own framing is scaling agentic AI from the rack to the edge, which is a polite way of saying it intends to compete everywhere at once, rather than fight Nvidia head-on in training. The company has been losing data center share for years. Whether a coherent architecture story is enough to change, that is a question only its customers can answer.
Now to valuations, climbing fast.
General Intuition, a physical AI startup, is in talks to raise money at a $6 billion pre-money valuation. TechCrunch reports that Valor Equity Partners, Point72 Ventures, and 776 are joining as new investors, alongside existing backers Khosla Ventures and General Catalyst. What makes the number striking is how recent the last one is. The company raised $320 million at a $2.3 billion valuation only weeks ago. That is a valuation roughly doubling in about a month, driven by a pivot toward robotics. No deal has closed, and the terms could still change. But it captures how quickly capital is repricing anything that promises to put AI models into physical machines.
A second robotics raise today.
Generalist, a robotics foundation model company, has raised roughly $200 million in a round led by 8 VC. Axios first reported the raise, which surfaced in a federal securities filing rather than a company announcement. The timing is the story. Generalist closed a $400 million round just 2 months ago, meaning it has taken in about $600 million this summer alone. The company builds general-purpose models that let robots learn new tasks from a handful of demonstrations rather than from task-specific programming. Investors have decided that approach, robot foundation models trained broadly rather than narrowly, is the one worth funding. Generalist has not commented publicly on the new round.
Next, the chips behind the chips.
Infineon Technologies is acquiring C2I Semiconductors, a Bengaluru chip startup founded in 2024 and backed by Peak 15. Terms were not disclosed. C2I designs power management silicon, the unglamorous components that convert and deliver electricity inside AI servers, and it recently taped out a power chip aimed at data center customers. Infineon already leads that category, and the deal is as much about engineering talent in India as it is about the product itself. Power delivery has quietly become one of the hardest constraints in AI hardware. Racks now draw more current than traditional designs can handle efficiently, and every watt lost to conversion is a watt that never reaches a GPU.
And finally, delivery from above.
Airbound, a Bengaluru startup building autonomous delivery aircraft, raised $37 million in a Series A led by Green Oaks, with DoorDash, Lightspeed, Lucky Groom, and Humber Ventures joining. The company designs what it calls a new class of aircraft, rocket-shaped drones meant to undercut trucks on cost for short-haul delivery. Its pitch is economic rather than technological. Bring the per-delivery cost below ground transport, and the market opens by itself, particularly across Indian cities, where congestion makes the last few miles expensive. DoorDash's participation is the interesting signal, a delivery platform investing directly in the aircraft rather than waiting to buy the service. Indian deep tech funding has climbed sharply this year.
That's your briefing for Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.